My girlfriend said, "Accept me going on a girls' trip with 3 guys, or be single." I chose option 3, showed her military dad the texts where she called him pathetic and me useful. He helped me pack her stuff that same day. I thought I had everything figured out. 29 years old, electrical engineer, 4 years deep into what I believed was a solid relationship with Chloe. On paper, we were the dream couple. I was the steady provider, the guy who fixed things and planned futures, and she was the vibrant social butterfly who kept life interesting. Or at least that's the story I sold myself. Looking back, I was just the safety net she was planning to outgrow. We lived in a 3-bedroom condo in the city. Here's the detail that matters. The place was owned by her father, Robert. Robert's old school retired military, runs a contracting business, believes in handshakes, and keeping your word. He gave us a family rate on rent because he respected me. Told me once over a beer, "I'm glad she found someone with a backbone. You remind me of myself when I was your age." I took it as the highest compliment. I had no idea how much I'd need that alliance until everything detonated. Last Tuesday, Chloe came home from her marketing job buzzing with that specific energy she gets when she wants something expensive. She perched on the arm of the sofa, running her fingers through my hair in that way she does when she's warming me up for an ask. "Babe," she started, voice honey sweet. "Sarah and Jen are planning a trip to Miami next month. Just a girls' getaway, sun, beach, cocktails. We really need to blow off steam. Work's been insane." I didn't think much of it. I trusted her. Past tense. "Sounds fun," I said, looking up from my laptop. "How long?" 5 days. "The flight's a bit pricey, but I was hoping we could put it on your Sapphire card for the points. I'll pay you back half when my bonus hits." I agreed. I always agreed. Booked the flight that same night. Even felt good about it, the supportive boyfriend giving his girl space to decompress with her friends. 2 days later, the universe handed me a reality check wrapped in a notification. Chloe was in the shower. I was on the couch watching the game when her iPad lit up on the coffee table. It was linked to her iMessage, and normally I ignore her notifications. But the preview caught my eye because it wasn't from Sarah or Jen. It was from a contact saved as Kyle. The message read, "Tell him whatever you want. Just make sure you bring that red thing you wore last week. I'm not sleeping on the couch this time." My stomach dropped through the floor. The air left the room. I stared at that screen, heart hammering against my ribs like it was trying to escape. I knew I shouldn't look. The noble thing would be to wait, to ask her directly. But that phrase, "tell him whatever you want," shattered every noble intention I had. I unlocked the iPad. She hadn't changed the passcode in 3 years. I didn't just find a text. I found a war room. Group chat named Miami Mayhem. Members: Sarah, Jen, Chloe, Kyle, Mike, and Justin. I scrolled back through days of messages, and with every swipe, my love for her calcified into something cold and dead. This wasn't a girls' trip. It was a couples retreat. Sarah and Jen were bringing their guys, and Kyle was paired with Chloe. They'd rented a 3-bedroom Airbnb. The math was simple. I was funding her flight while she split the house with Kyle. But the infidelity wasn't even the worst part. It was the contempt. The way she talked about me to these strangers made my blood run cold. Chloe: Mark's asking about the itinerary. He's so suffocating sometimes, acting like my dad. Kyle: does the bank account know he's being played? Chloe: lol, stop. He's useful though. Paying for the flight saves me $400. Besides, he's so vanilla he'd never survive Miami anyway. I need a break from playing house with Mr. Safety. Kyle, don't worry. I'll make sure you forget his name by the second night. Chloe, I already have. I sat there, freezing cold in my own living room. Useful. Vanilla. Mr. Safety. She wasn't just betraying me, she was performing for an audience, soliciting validation from a man who clearly didn't respect either of us. Using my resources to fund her disrespect. I took screenshots of everything. The mockery, the room-sharing plans, the confirmation of her lies. Airdropped them to my phone, deleted the evidence from the iPad, then sat back down and waited for her to finish her shower. I didn't scream, didn't throw things. I felt this strange clinical detachment settling over me like snow. The woman I loved had died the moment I read those texts. The person in the bathroom was just a stranger wearing her face. She came out wrapped in a towel, humming, smelling like that expensive vanilla body scrub I'd bought her for her birthday. She saw me sitting there with the TV off. "Why is it so quiet in here?" she asked, toweling her hair. "I was just thinking about your trip," I said, voice steady, almost too steady. "I was looking at hotels in Miami. Where are you guys staying again?" She didn't even flinch. "Oh, we found this cute boutique hotel near South Beach. Small place. Sarah booked it." "Really?" I said. "Because I was looking at Airbnbs, and they seemed like better deals for groups." "No, we wanted hotel service." The lie rolled off her tongue effortlessly. She walked into the bedroom to get dressed. I followed, leaned against the doorframe. "So it's just you, Sarah, and Jen?" "Yes, Mark. Why are you interrogating me?" She pulled a t-shirt over her head, voice getting sharp. She hated being questioned. "Because I know Kyle's going," I said. She froze. Her back was to me, but I watched her shoulders lock up. She turned around slowly, face flushing panic mixed with anger. "Who told you?" "Kyle," I repeated. "And Mike and Justin. And I know you're not staying at a hotel. 3-bedroom Airbnb. And you're not sleeping alone." She stared at me, brain working overtime to calculate how much I knew. Then she made the fatal mistake she went on offense. Classic cheater pivot. When caught, attacked the discovery method. "Did you go through my phone?" she snapped, eyes narrowing. "You violated my privacy. Are you serious right now?" "I saw a notification on the iPad," I said calmly. "But yeah, once I saw some random guy texting my girlfriend about sleeping in the same bed, I looked. And I saw everything, Chloe. I saw you calling me useful. Saw you laughing about me paying for your flight so you could go hook up with some gym rat." She scoffed, crossed her arms. She didn't cry, didn't apologize. She rolled her eyes. "You're blowing this completely out of proportion," she said, tone dripping condescension. "Kyle's just a friend from the gym. We're all going as a group. It's cheaper to split a house." God, you're so insecure. This is exactly what I was talking about in those texts. You're suffocating me. "I'm suffocating you because I don't want you sharing a room with another man?" "Nothing's gonna happen," she yelled, "unless you keep acting like this jealous psycho and drive me to it. I need this trip, Mark. I feel stagnant. I feel like I'm living this boring, predictable life, and I just want 1 week to feel young and fun again. Is that a crime?" I looked at her. Really looked. She genuinely believed she was the victim. She thought she was the main character and I was just a supporting actor who'd forgotten his lines. "So," she continued, stepping closer, using her height and anger to intimidate, "here's the deal. I'm going to Miami. I'm not canceling. I deserve this." She held up 2 fingers, looking at me with defiant smugness. "You have 2 choices. Choice 1. You get over your little insecurity. You trust me, and you let me go have a good time. Stop acting like a jailer. She paused for effect. Choice 2. You don't accept it. In which case, we're done. You can be single. If you can't handle me having male friends, maybe we're not compatible. She dropped her hands, looking at me with a triumphant smirk. She thought she checkmated me, thought I was so afraid of losing her, so terrified of blowing up our 4-year relationship that I'd fold. She expected me to apologize, to beg, to promise to be cool. Those are my choices? I asked. Those are your choices, she said. Balls in your court, Mark. She grabbed her gym bag. I'm going to the gym. I expect you to be done throwing your tantrum by the time I get back. She rushed past me and slammed the door. Silence flooded back into the apartment. I stood there for a full minute, processing the sheer audacity of what just happened. She'd cheated emotionally, planned to cheat physically, mocked me behind my back, then threatened to dump me if I didn't fund it and shut up. She gave me 2 choices. Accept the disrespect or lose her. She forgot there's always a third option. I walked to the window and watched her car pull out of the driveway. The moment she disappeared around the corner, I pulled out my phone. I didn't call a lawyer, didn't call my mom. I called Robert. Hey, Mark. His gruff voice answered on the second ring. Everything okay? I was just about to head to the hardware store. Hey, Robert, I said, voice calm. Deadly calm. Are you home? I need to come over. It's about Chloe. And it's about the lease. Is she okay? Fatherly concern spiked in his voice. She's fine. Physically. But I have something I need to show you. I think you need to see how your daughter talks about us. And I'm going to need to borrow your truck. Pause. Then his tone shifted from concern to something harder. Come on over. Robert lives 20 minutes away in a house he built himself in the late 90s. When I pulled into his driveway, he was in the garage tinkering with a lawnmower. He wiped grease-stained hands on a rag and waved, but his smile faded when he saw my face. Coffee or beer? He asked. It was 11 a.m. on a Saturday. Neither, Robert. We need to talk inside. We sat at his kitchen table. I didn't waste time with pleasantries. Didn't try to soften the blow. I respected this man too much to sugarcoat the fact that his daughter had become someone neither of us recognized. I love your daughter, I started, placing the iPad on the table between us. I've been planning to propose next year, but an hour ago, she gave me an ultimatum. She told me I could either accept her going on a trip with 3 other men sharing a house with them, or I could be single. Robert frowned, bushy gray eyebrows knitting together. 3 men? She told her mother it was a girls' trip to South Beach. It's not. I slid the iPad toward him. I need you to read this chat. Start from the top. And Robert, I'm sorry you have to see this, but I need you to understand why I'm doing what I'm about to do. I watched him read, saw the exact moment his heart broke. It wasn't when he saw the sexual innuendos with Kyle. It was when he scrolled to a message I hadn't mentioned one where she complained about her own parents. Chloe. I can't ask my dad for cash. He's got these outdated, stuffy morals. Thinks hard work is the answer to everything. It's pathetic. I'll just get Mark to put the flight on his card and guilt him into forgetting about it. Robert's face went from confused to stone cold. He read it twice, set the iPad down gently, took off his glasses, rubbed the bridge of his nose. The silence in that kitchen was suffocating. She called me pathetic, he whispered. Not anger hollow, disappointment. She called me useful and you pathetic, I corrected quietly. She's using my money to fly there, and she's using your house as a base to disrespect us both. Robert stood, walked to the sink, stared out the window for a long time. When he turned back, the fatherly warmth was gone. In its place was the hardened look of a man who deals with breaches of contract for a living. "The lease on the condo," Robert said, voice gruff. "It's month to month now, right?" "Yeah. We never renewed the yearly term." "And I co-signed for her car," he muttered, more to himself than me. He looked me in the eye. "Mark, you're a good man. You treated her like gold, better than she deserves, evidently." "I'm done, Robert," I said. "I'm not negotiating with her. I'm picking option 3. "Option 3, he repeated, nodding slowly. "Right, let's go." He didn't ask what I meant. He knew. He grabbed his truck keys. We drove back to the condo in separate vehicles. When we got there, we didn't yell, didn't throw things out windows like in the movies. We worked like a moving crew. Robert brought empty boxes from his truck bed. "Pack only what's hers," he instructed. "If you bought it, it stays. If you paid for it, it stays." It took us 2 hours. We cleared the closet, the bathroom, her vanity. I packed her shoes while her father packed her books. It was a surreal bonding experience. 2 men systematically dismantling the presence of a woman who'd played us both. When the last box was loaded into Robert's Ford F-150, the apartment felt massive, empty, quiet. I took a piece of notebook paper and a Sharpie. I wanted to write paragraphs, to scream at her in ink. But then I remembered the restaurant. I remembered her saying, "Those are your choices." I wrote 3 sentences. "You gave me 2 choices. I picked option 3. Your dad has your stuff." I left the note on the kitchen island next to the spare key she'd given me when we first moved in. Robert idled the truck in the driveway, looking at me through the window. "I'm taking this to my garage. She can stay in her old room until she figures out her life. But Mark, don't let her talk her way back in. She's got her mother's tongue. She'll try to spin this. She's blocked, Robert. She doesn't exist anymore." He nodded, gave me a firm handshake, a grip that said "I'm sorry" without words, and drove off. I went back inside, poured a whiskey, and sat in the silence. For the first time in 4 years, I didn't have to worry about making someone else happy. I just breathed. She came home 2 hours later. I wasn't there. I'd gone to a buddy's place to crash, just in case she caused a scene. But I had my Ring camera notifications on. I watched the whole thing unfold on my phone. She walked up to the door, gym bag over her shoulder, looking annoyed, probably rehearsing her speech about how I needed to grow up. She put her key in the lock. It worked. I hadn't changed the locks yet. Robert would handle that as landlord. She walked in. I saw the moment she realized. The apartment echoed. She spun around in the living room frame. Her decorative pillows gone. Her throw blankets gone. The photos of us on the mantel gone. She picked up the note from the island. Read it. Threw it on the ground and screamed. Not sadness rage. Pure, entitled rage. She grabbed her phone, dialed me. Blocked. Dialed again. Blocked. Then she called Robert. I heard about this conversation later. Robert didn't yell. He simply said, "Your boxes are in the driveway. It's going to rain tonight, so I suggest you come get them. And Chloe, don't bring that iPad into my house. I know what you used it for." He hung up. Most people, when their life implodes, take a step back and reflect. Not Chloe. Chloe operated on spite. She had too much pride to admit defeat. She doubled down. She posted an Instagram story that night from her childhood bedroom, a selfie with the caption, "Trash took itself out today. Finally, free Miami isn't ready for me." She went on the trip. Had to. To cancel would be admitting I was the structure holding her life together. She needed to prove she was the prize. But reality has a nasty way of hitting you when you don't have a safety net. Since I'd canceled the flight purchase on my Sapphire card, fraud protection is a beautiful thing. When an authorized user violates relationship terms, her ticket was voided. She had to buy a last-minute replacement at 3 times the price, maxing out her own credit card. From what I gathered later through mutual friends who rapidly defected to my side once screenshots of the group chat leaked, the trip was a disaster. The Miami Mayhem crew didn't want a sad homeless girl. They wanted fun, carefree Chloe who bought rounds of shots. But Chloe was stressed, checking her bank account obsessively, spiraling over why I hadn't chased her. And Kyle, the gym crush? Turns out Kyle wasn't interested in a relationship. He wanted a sure thing. They hooked up the first night. By day 2, Kyle was hitting on other girls at the pool right in front of her. When she complained, he apparently told her, "Relax, we're not dating. You're the one who said you wanted a break from Mr. Safety, right? So have fun." She was stuck in a house with 3 guys who treated her like a party favor and 2 girlfriends too busy with their own flings to comfort her. She ended up sleeping on the couch because Kyle brought someone else back to the room she'd paid for. 5 days hemorrhaging money she didn't have, surrounded by people who didn't care if she existed, while her life back home sat in cardboard boxes in her dad's garage. By the time she landed, she wasn't the baddie she'd claimed on Instagram. She was broke, single, and homeless. And that's when the silence started breaking. That's when the "I miss you" texts started trying to punch through the block list. Silence is expensive. It costs your ego, your desire to be right, and the urge to check up on them. But the return on investment is peace. For 6 weeks, I was a ghost. Didn't ask mutual friends about her, didn't check her social media from burner accounts. I simply erased her digital footprint from my life. I channeled all that energy into myself. Hit the gym 6 days a week, not for revenge, but to burn off adrenaline. Focused on a work project I'd been neglecting because I used to spend evenings listening to Chloe complain about her coworkers. Without her drama sucking the oxygen out of the room, I thrived. Got a promotion, slept better. My bank account looked healthier than it had in years. But toxic people hate silence. It forces them to hear their own thoughts. And Chloe evidently didn't like what she was hearing. The flying monkeys arrived first. About a month after the breakup, I got a text from Sarah, the same Sarah who'd helped plan Miami Mayhem. Sarah: "Hey, Mark. Look, I know you're mad, but you need to talk to Chloe. She's in a really bad place, been crying nonstop. She's staying at a motel because her dad won't let her back in the main house. You can't just abandon her like this. It's cruel." I stared at the phone. Almost funny. They wanted me to be the safety net again. They broke her. Now they wanted me to pay for repairs. I didn't reply. Blocked Sarah. Then Jen. Then the 2 other friends who'd liked her freedom post. When digital manipulation failed, she resorted to physical ambush. Tuesday evening, I was walking to my car in the company parking garage, unlocked my door, and heard heels clicking hurriedly across concrete. "Mark, wait." I froze, recognized the voice, but it sounded thinner, desperate. I turned around. Chloe stood by my bumper. The glow down is real. The Chloe I knew was always impeccable hair done, makeup flawless, outfit curated for Instagram. This woman looked exhausted, roots showing, wearing sweatpants that looked slept in, and a hoodie I recognized as mine that she'd stolen years ago. She looked like she hadn't slept in a week. "You're hard to find," she said, trying for playful but missing by a mile. "You blocked my number." "Really?" I didn't smile, didn't frown. Just leaned against my car door, arms crossed.
"You gave me a choice, Chloe.
I made it. What do you want? I want to talk, she said, stepping closer. I didn't move, didn't invite her in. Mark, this has gone too far. My dad won't even look at me. He told me I have to pay him back for the car, or he's repossessing it. He's acting crazy. You turned him against me. I didn't turn anyone against you, I said calmly. I showed him the truth. If the truth ruined your relationship with him, that's on you. I was angry, she shouted, voice echoing in the garage. I sent those texts because I was venting. Nothing happened in Miami, Mark, I swear. Kyle was a jerk. I spent the whole time missing you. I realized I made a mistake. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. Don't. You didn't miss me, Chloe. You missed the lifestyle, missed the apartment, missed having a guy who pays for everything and asks for nothing. That's not true. Tears welled up, weaponized tears. I used to fall for them every time. Now they just look like saline. I love you. Can't we just hit reset? Please. I'm staying at a motel, Mark. I'm scared. Just let me come home. We can fix this. I looked at her, really looked, and realized the anger was gone. The hurt was gone. All that remained was indifference. She was just a stranger, with a history I no longer cared to read. This was the moment she expected me to fold. Expected the provider instinct to kick in. Thought I'd see her suffering and feel obligated to save her. But I wasn't her provider anymore. I was just a guy in a parking garage who wanted to go home. There's no home for you to come back to, I said. Voice soft, professional, detached. I moved out of the condo last week. Your dad's selling the unit. He didn't want the memories either. Her face went slack. What? I moved. You left me nothing, she stammered. You just erased me. You erased us, Chloe. When you sent that text calling me useful and boring, you killed the relationship. You just didn't realize it until the credit card bill arrived. She started getting angry then, sadness dissolving into toxic entitlement. You're such a petty, vindictive little man. You think you're better than me? You think you're the prize? You're boring, Mark. You'll always be boring. Kyle was right about you. There it was. The mask slipped completely. I smiled, genuine, easy. You know what? You're right. I am boring. I pay my bills, stay loyal, treat people with respect, go to bed at reasonable hours. To someone like you, that's boring. But to a grown woman, that's a husband. I opened my car door. You can't just leave me here, she screamed. I have nowhere to go. You have plenty of places to go, I said, getting into the driver's seat. You've got the gym, the club, the streets of Miami. You've got all that freedom you demanded. You're free, Chloe. Congratulations. You got exactly what you wanted. Mark. She slammed her hand on my window. I started the engine. Bluetooth connected. Phone lit up on the dashboard. A text notification popped up from a woman named Elena, a pediatrician I'd met at a mutual friend's dinner party 2 weeks earlier. Elena, dinner's almost ready. Pick up wine on your way? Chloe looked through the glass. Saw the name. Saw the smiley face. Saw the life that was supposed to be hers continuing without her. I didn't look at her again. Put the car in reverse. Backed out. Drove toward the exit ramp. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing alone in the middle of that concrete lane, small and shrinking with every yard I put between us. I turned on the radio, merged onto the highway, and went to buy a bottle of Cabernet. I picked option 3, and it was the best decision I ever made.